Hi guys, it's Wendy from Ask The Landlady, and as usual I'm here with all the tips and tricks to help you make a profit in real estate rentals. And today I want to talk to you aspiring real estate investors, new real estate investors, even old experienced ones like myself, about what is the right unit to buy, especially in the beginning. Is it single family versus duplex versus small multi-unit? What's right for you? So what should your first rental be? The answer isn't the same for everyone. So I'm gonna delve into it because picking the wrong one could set your investing career back years. So let's break it down. So there's three main entry points for landlords and landladies to get into this. When most people think of a rental property, they might think of just a single family home. And that's a perfectly valid entry point, but that's not the only one. And for many investors, it's not the best one. So let's get into the pros and cons of each one. Each honest one we can do. So let's start with the single family home. Your pros are, it's easier to finance, right? Conventional loans, FHA, even a VA if you can qualify. And you could even do a house hacking thing or a thing where you live there and then move on and rent it out, right? So that's a great selling point there. Second, easiest to sell, right? A large pool of buyers want a single family home. Including owner occupants. So when you go to sell it, you wouldn't have to sell it as a rental property, you could sell it as a single family home where you're always going to get more money because of the financing terms are much better. You can get a 30-year mortgage per se on a single family home, right? So that's going to be more attractive, easier to sell. Number three, tenants often stay longer and they treat it as a home. It's their home. They're excited about being in their home. They have a yard, they have a garage, they have a driveway, they can have a pet, whatever. So they tend to stay longer in that type of situation. Now, as with pros, you got your cons, right? Number one con is when it's vacant, your income is zero, right? 100% vacancy risk. Somebody moves out, they've trashed it takes you a couple months to get it put together. Yeah, nobody's paying your mortgage, right? It is zero money coming in. Number two is your price to rent ratios often make cash flow difficult because you price a home at a certain price. And if you're trying to see it as a rental property, it's not price. So cash flow in a competitive market could be very difficult for you to do that. And your last con is that you have one tenant, one income stream, all your eggs right there in that one little basket, right? So that's your single family home. Now my sweet point is, I'm gonna say all day and all night, go for a duplex, right? Your pros on a duplex, 2 units is 2 income streams, 1 vacancy isn't gonna kill you, right? You still got that other one coming in. Number 2, it still qualifies for residential financing under most conventional loan programs, right? So you're not gonna have to pay those investor rates, lesser rates, have to put more money down, it can still qualify. A lot of, maybe you live in one part of it and then you move out and then you rent both, whatever. The duplex is a great sweet spot for the financing as well. So that house hacking option would be that number 3. Live in one, rent out the other side. Somebody's helping you pay your mortgage. Your cons are you're managing 2 tenants and 2 units, so you're doubling up on that stuff. Requires some more work, sure. Not much. And number 2, it is slightly harder to sell than a single family home. Slightly harder, I say, because duplexes are still, especially in urban areas, still a great selling point for people, especially young professionals. Can't quite afford a house yet, you don't have any kids. It's a great place for them to be. So you're not, and I guess your other con is they're not gonna stay as longer as a single family home, because a lot of times people who are in a duplex are seeking to get their own home at some point in time. So that'd be your third con. Now a small multi-unit, which is your 3 to 4 unit, your triplex, quadruplex, quad. Your pros there is, again, more income streams, significantly reduce that vacancy risk. One's down, you're still able to pay your mortgage with the other 3. Sweet, sweet, sweet. You're still eligible for that residential financing. Anything under 4 units is still gonna get you that. You don't always have to do your FHA guidelines too, or fair housing when you're under a quadruplex. You're not having to jump through so many hoops and hurdles. The third one would be your economies of scale and your maintenance. And right, you have 1 roof for all 4 units. It's just gonna make things a lot easier on that economy. The bigger you get, your economies of scale works in your favor. So your cons are you got a higher purchase price jumping in, right? That's gonna be more expensive than your single family home. Number two, more complex management. You got 4 units that you got to keep track of, and tenants, and when their leases come up, and inspecting them, and all those types of things, right? And then your last con would be tenant turnover is more frequent with smaller units. If somebody's living in the 1 bedroom, might only be there for typically the 1 year versus a home where they want to stay for many, many years. So once you go to so that's your cons on that. So I maintain for a new investor, those are your best 3 options: single family home, duplex, or a bigger triplex or a quad, right? Those are kind of your 3 little areas. Those are your sweet spots. You can still get that residential financing. Once you get to that 5 units or more, you're in commercial territory. And that gets tricky because different rules, different rates, different underwriting, a lot more government regulation, hoops to go through. Your mortgage company is always breathing down your back. Definitely something I would not jump into right away unless you're feeling super confident. Or you have my book, Lessons from the Landlady. I'll tell you all about it in there. Check that out on Amazon by Wendy Myers. Then maybe you do, if you're brave. I'd love to hear in the comments, has anybody just jumped right in and bought a multiplex, like more than 5 units? You are a brave soul, and I'd love to hear from you. So my recommendation is if you could swing your numbers, like I said, on that duplex or even that triple or quad, I'd go for that first over a single family home, just because of, I love that factor of, if one's vacant, it's not killing you. So the income diversification alone is worth that little bit of extra complexity. That's not such a big deal. But that's not to be said, a well-priced single family home in a strong rental market, never a bad first move, because if it doesn't work out, you turn around and sell the house, right? So start where the numbers work, not where the property looks prettiest. So as usual, I am so happy to be here talking with you. I will be back next Monday with another topic for the new real estate investor. So I'd love to hear in the comments, what did you buy first? Was it a home? Was it a duplex? Was it a multifamily? Whew, you guys are brave. So shoot me a comment, hit like and subscribe, and I just hope you have a great day.